right, we are streaming. We are full screen. And then as soon as YouTube loads the video, we will do our compulsory audio check. And then we will be ready to go. We will do our compulsory audio check. Let me get something from you, Ben. And then we will
Yo.
We will do our compulsory audio check. Let me get something from you, Ben. And then we will All right, we're good.
Right.
Welcome, everyone, to the Down the Middle podcast, your favorite wrestling podcast, and if it's not yet, it will be soon. We got a big one for you. Oh, first of all, happy 4th of July, everybody.
4th of July.
Yep. Where we celebrate the American faces defeating the evil foreign heels, or at least we used to. Anyway.
But that's what I was doing wrestling, so
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's very appropriate. Unfortunately, the American Dream cannot join us anymore, but we remember him fondly, and we wish his sons and family all the best. And they got a lot coming up. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today, we are talking about yet another round of releases by WWE and some surprise returns. But first, an announcement, and this is particularly exciting for Ben. It's mirrored, so. Official Down the Middle merchandise is finally available. There is a link below in the description. We have premium t-shirts, we have tank tops, we have hoodies, we have women's shirts because I have a sense of humor. And they are all ready for purchase right now.
What was anybody's sense of humor? I mean, you figured it would be available in all aspects.
That's why I really did it, but I mean, I'm not anticipating a lot of women to buy shirts, but prove me wrong, for sure. I will eat that crow happily. And then another announcement, Ben, I didn't want to spring this on you, but we talked last week how the Average Intelligence podcast is having a subscriber drive contest sort of thing. I want to do the same thing on here, except the winner of our contest will receive a free piece of Down the Middle merchandise of their choice, and we will ship it to you, no cost. So it is 100% free. We're not going to hit you up for shipping and handling.
Okay.
How this is going to work. My Instagram is also below in the description. I want you guys to share the podcast. You can share it through YouTube, through Spotify, through whatever, any of our platforms, because we actually do, for some reason, we do a little bit better on the audio platforms, but we still do pretty good on YouTube as well. Send me proof of that, and you'll get one entry into the contest. And let's say, give you till the end of July, and we're just no set number. We're just trying to get more subscribers. So whoever gets us the most new subscribers wins the t-shirt, hoodie, tank top, whatever. I have a feeling we're going to be giving away a free hoodie.
We will be. I have all those things, especially with winter coming up. Yeah, I see the hoodie.
Yeah, I'm anticipating that. But this is good news for all of you because the Average Intelligence podcast, for there to be a winner, we have to get to the 100 subscribers. For this one, somebody's going to win, period. So whoever gets us the most new subscribers by the end of July will win the t-shirt, hoodie, tank top, women's tee, whatever. Now I kind of hope a girl wins it.
Hey, you hope your girl wins it? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I kind of hope a girl wins it so we can sell one. Well, so we can actually have them print one of the girls' t-shirts.
Okay, well.
But anyway, so that was the announcement. And also one more quick tidbit. If you would like to support the channel, there are some links down below that tell you how to do that. But the number one thing is just watch, subscribe, share. That's the biggest stuff. But anyway, we will get right into it. So there were quite a few releases. And I'm a bad wrestling fan here, but like most of these people, I don't even know who they are. I don't know about most. I'd say about half the list I didn't know who they were.
Half was wrestlers, and the other part was management.
I'm only talking wrestlers here.
Well, that's fine, but
yeah, that's what I mean.
A lot of the releases this last round was part wrestlers, part management. But that's why we'll.
Yeah, so we might breeze through this kind of quickly, but there's still a lot to talk about. So the first I had on the list was Chase Parker.
Yeah, some of the and I'm on and I'm the wrestling guy, and so I'm part of you with this one. Some of these I don't know as well. So
I'm assuming the ones I hadn't heard of are like on NXT and haven't been there for very long.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Some of these are like some that just got signed.
Yeah, I remember there was one guy who got signed in October of 2020. So
I think there's a girl on that list too that is just the same as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Chase Parker, best of luck in your future endeavors. Again, I don't feel bad, but like I feel kind of embarrassed because I don't really know that much about the guy. I don't know if we'll ever see him again in another promotion, but hats off to you. You went to WWE. That's an accomplishment. Congratulations.
Yes.
The next one we had is Matt Martell. Again, I don't really know too much about this guy.
Well, we're bad. I would say we're a bad host right now, but
not really though, because again, if it was just WWE, I'd say we were a really bad host. But do you know how many hours of wrestling there are in a week? And we have.
Oh no, you're right. Oh, you're right.
There are other things to do. So forgive me if I don't know who Chase Parker is.
Or Matt Martell.
I don't think that the Chase Parker or Matt Martell fan clubs will be writing us any angry letters.
No, you're right.
So I think we're
good.
So the next one is a pretty big deal. Killian Dane got released.
Yes, Killian Dane. It's weird because the man just turned face on NXT with this gentle giant type thing with tag team with Drake Maverick.
Yeah, it doesn't, and they're really pushing, because for those who don't know, which is probably nobody, he's married to Nikki Cross in real life, and she appeared to be getting quite the push on the main roster. Now, I'm going to make a prediction here, but first I'm going to talk a little bit more about Killian Dane. This is also really surprising considering what WWE spent a ton of time and money on what they were trying to do in the UK. Basically signing up all the indie talent to, keep them from competing with WWE NXT UK.
Right.
So it's kind of surprising. And of all the people to release Killian Dane, like I guess Pete Dunne would have been more surprising, but not by much.
Well, the thing is, Pete Dunne's a more prominent role in NXT, so it's like okay. You're not going to really. I understand, like they say, they want to release people, but you're not going to actually release people, especially if they're in a top spot. I'm not saying that they couldn't be released, but Pete Dunne was just. I mean, I know this would say the same thing about Braun Strowman. He did fight for the Universal title last round and everything. But even then, Pete Dunne's more of a prominent role when it comes to fighting for a title than that type of thing.
Right. No, I agree. And I would have been legitimately surprised and not upset, but like, what the hell were you thinking if they released Pete Dunne? Because he'll get hired, tomorrow. Like they'll have a preemptive contract worked out and sit on it for 90 days, and they'd probably pay him if they could legally pay him just to say, hey, you're going to wrestle for us when your 90-day non-compete is up.
Even though not to go on topic of this, what's weird is I've actually read that they've done it, that there's some wrestlers that's done it to where they can get out of their 90 days. And I didn't even know that. Like they work out a way to where they buy out the rest of their 90 days, and then they can actually go start working again. Cole Cabana actually did that. That's right.
Yeah, which is kind of odd that he was able to do that given his position, because usually that's with higher level talent, higher up on the card. And the irony there is that the people that can afford and are able to do that probably don't need to do that because they'll still have the name recognition 90 days later. But the people that would really need that are the ones that either can't afford or don't have the leverage to put that in their contract when they got signed.
Well, right, but when Colt Cabana was there, he wasn't Colt Cabana. He was Scotty Goldberg.
Yeah, I know, but Colt Cabana probably didn't need it. Come to think of it, because he already had the indie reputation. But anyway, I'm also going to make a prediction here because history seems to be repeating itself. So, if everybody remembers when Zelina Vega got released, and I know she came back, we'll touch on that in a minute. Aleister Black kind of looked like he was getting a push. Exactly like what's happening with Nikki Cross, except the gimmick was stupid. Just like with Nikki Cross. I watched that segment. Where is it? What is she calling it? Spirit?
Something like that. She's a superhero.
Yeah.
But she's getting over, and she's in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, she's going to get released. I'm calling it. I give it a month or two. She'll be in the next round.
You think she'll be in the next round?
I'm just looking at the pattern of events here, and it's very familiar.
Okay.
I hope I'm wrong, but I think Nikki Cross is going to get released.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'm just looking at what's going on, and I'm like, why? Because to me, that's a booking decision that simply looks like we're going to try to make her look as stupid as possible. And she's still going to get over. That's the crime. She's still going to get over because Nikki Cross will get over no matter what she does because she's a good wrestler. She's got the personality, and the audience just fucking loves her.
I mean, look at Gregory Helms. He did the same thing.
Yep. Well, Nikki Cross, for a while there, was the only one that was getting cheered when the Sanity thing was going on.
Because everybody loved her.
That's what I'm saying. She was over. She was over from pretty much the very beginning, and yet they're giving her this incredibly stupid gimmick. That's the whole thing. The theme of this episode is basically what is going on over at WWE because they don't seem to their head doesn't seem to be connected to their the head's doing one thing and the ass is doing another, and neither one knows what the other is doing.
Well, I have a theory about what's going on. We'll talk about that after a bit.
Next up was Marina Shafir. This didn't surprise me too much, but it ruins a potentially wonderful booking scenario. But I suspect this might have been a legitimate release, like they needed to let her go.
Was she the one that she just got signed and they just released her?
No, she's been there for a while. She was one of the, how do I say this? One of the group of former MMA fighters that palled around with Ronda Rousey in real life. And it looked like they were trying to create like a real 4 horsewomen stable with Ronda, because they were the 4 horsewomen in UFC.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, she was one of those 4.
Okay. Well, that I didn't. Okay.
But it just seemed to me like every time I watched her, and again, I say it before, I'll say it again. I try not to comment on in-ring work because, again, not a wrestler, never been trained. But I got the sense that it just wasn't clicking for her.
Right.
But it is what it is. Not trying to say anything bad about her. I'm just like, it seemed like the way she was being booked. That's a better way to put it, because it seemed to me like the way they were booking Marina Shafir and the other, and I forget her name. They were constantly doing things like run-ins and interference. They weren't actually having a ton of matches. They were just kind of there. So that tells me that on the training side of things, it wasn't quite sticking.
They're more used as extras to try to show them, hey, this is what you can do on TV.
Right.
Because you're not going. But this is a way of getting you on TV to do something while you're still training.
Right. And it seemed to me they were trying to get the names out there so that they could book around them once they were solid enough in the ring to be featured in matches, but it never really happened.
Right.
So anyway, that was because they were palling around with not Ron. Oh my God. I'm having a total brain fart because Shayna Baszler. They were pounding around with Shayna Baszler when Shayna was in WWE.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Okay.
And I forget, Shayna Baszler is awesome. I was such a big fan of her when she was NXT Women's Champion.
And now she's in WWE. It's like, you're a joke.
I don't know that she's a joke, but she followed the definite pattern of being like booked like a legit badass, because she is a legit badass, but booked like a legitimate badass in NXT, and then going to the main roster and just being in the crowd.
Yeah, she's bigger than Alexa Bliss, but yet she's getting beat by Alexa Bliss like it's nothing.
Because Alexa Bliss has a magic doll.
True.
Yeah, so
that's why there's no Fiend. She's the Fiend.
I mean, I'm not going to knock it too much because she's doing a great job with it. I just think it's a dumb idea. Her execution is great. It's just a.
She's going to be. I'm going to say this now. I will say this now, though. I think Alexa Bliss is going to win Money in the Bank. I know this is totally different thing, but I see Alexa Bliss winning Money in the Bank for the women.
I can see that. So you know what? We'll just go ahead and pause because we're going to talk about it instead of going back. So Zelina Vega returned on SmackDown. I don't think it's permanent.
Here's the thing. Here's my theory. I think it is. Okay, and the reason being is because I think Aleister Black is going to come back.
If it is permanent, I suspect he'll come back too. But here's why I don't think it's permanent.
Okay, why do you think it's not permanent?
Because I follow her on Instagram. Her Instagram name is still Thea Trinidad, and when she was signed with WWE, it was Zelina Vega. And then the other thing too, and the reason I'm bringing this up now is because you brought it up. I think you're right. I think Alexa Bliss is going to win Money in the Bank. And this sounds so bad. I don't think they have enough
star power.
They don't have enough mid-card star power because they have plenty of women in the division that are believable to be in the world title picture. And then they have some women that aren't quite to the level of competing for the women's championship yet. They don't have a lot in the middle that haven't been there yet, but you could see them as viable. And ironically, they released one of them in Ruby Riott, which again, so I think they might be bringing Zelina back temporarily. Now, that being said, I hope you're right, and they finally put Zelina Vega and Aleister Black together in WWE, because that would be awesome.
Well, the only reason why I think they're going to bring back Aleister Black, because they can they brought back Zelina, and I have seen there's talks about bringing him back as well. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the reason why they're going to bring him back is so they don't go to the competition.
Right. I agree with you, but this tells me, so if this is a permanent agreement with Zelina Vega and WWE, that means WWE has probably rethought their strategy in terms of like the additional revenue streams for the wrestlers. For example, like Twitch streams, and like Zelina Vega had an OnlyFans, and it's not what you think. Don't get too excited out there. But she did have an OnlyFans. I think it was art and cosplay related. But anyway, I don't know. I haven't seen it. But anyway, she had an OnlyFans. She has a Twitch stream, and she has a lot of like other content that she does. And I know Aleister Black did as well, because he had a clothing line, and I think he streams as well on Twitch. But my point being said is WWE had a problem with this, and they wanted to put it all under a WWE umbrella and not let the wrestlers have their own. That was a bone of contention with Miro, by the way. He got released anyway, but they were already fighting over that too, because he's a big gaming streamer.
Right.
That was an incredibly stupid move by them. But I think they would have had to come to an agreement on that, but it probably came with a pay cut.
Well, but if it is a pay cut and everything, but they're still making money on the side doing what the other stuff's like, who cares?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think they probably restructured it. And kudos to Thea Trinidad, because the way she got released, I really didn't care for, because basically what had happened there, and I'll give you the condensed version because I think we've talked about this before. She was told that she was going to have to shut down her Twitch stream and her other stuff, and things like Cameo too is another thing that wrestlers in WWE allegedly aren't allowed to do anymore, and wrestlers in AEW do all the time. And she was told she was going to have to shut them down or put them under the WWE umbrella, and she said, "No, I don't want to do that because I built this, and it's my money, it's my revenue stream." And then they released her.
Right.
So obviously they would have had to have hashed that out.
Right.
And I hope they did. So that's, if Aleister Black comes back, that tells me that they've hashed this out somehow, some way, which probably means they're not making as much from WWE, but they're able to keep their side revenue streams, which I'm a fan of, because I think, particularly during the pandemic, that was just a really shitty time to take away that revenue stream from the performers.
Well, and here's another thing too about that. I think they only do that to the people on the main roster.
I don't know.
Well, and I only say that because a big name on the on NXT does it. I didn't realize he did. Well, I should have known he does it. But there's a video of, there's a video of Adam Cole doing it, which will go back to the releases of what we're talking about, of him finding out, of him stopping streaming. Like, the stream's still going, but he's looking at his phone and realizing a certain person got released.
Yeah, I saw that. My only question, and I don't know this, is it under the WWE banner? And then Paige started streaming on her own Twitch stream as well, so maybe that went away, and I hope it did.
Well, the thing is, though, what does Paige do? Is she just a producer?
Yeah, but she was still an on-air talent at the time when they put that not a ban. Well, yeah, I guess a ban.
But sure. But like I said though, Adam Cole, he's not in NXT. It's WWE, but he's NXT. He's Triple H's problem, not Vince's problem.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those things like, okay, I'm not on the main roster, so you can't touch me. I'm on this roster, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope they did away with it because it was a really stupid, boneheaded decision. Because it's like, think about it, and then I'm sure AEW does this. It's like, if your performers can make extra money without affecting your product in a negative way, and in some ways it's a very positive way, you know, because like if you were a fan of Darby, and I don't know if he streams or not, but I'm just using this as an example. Like when Darby Allin got signed to AEW, if you were a fan of his on the indies and you watched his streaming services, and you would, which this probably didn't happen, but if you'd never heard of AEW, and then Darby Allin's on his Twitch channel and goes, "Oh yeah, guys, I have great news, and I'm going to tell you why I'm playing this game." And they're playing, it's like, I got signed to All Elite Wrestling, da 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 da. Those people are going to tune into AEW to watch Darby Allin.
Right.
So why wouldn't you want? Now, granted, you don't want them getting on there and talking shit, but most people would have the sense not to.
True.
You know, Darby Allin's not going to go on his Twitch channel and be like, "AEW sucks." No, that's not going to happen.
But But the thing is, though, is like people can use their streaming services to build feuds.
Exactly. Like Xavier Woods would be, I think he's doing this, but like they've mentioned his YouTube channel and it's intertwined before, and it's always been
Up Up Down Down was just mentioned on Raw the night that he faced Bobby Lashley. Mm-hmm. Like everybody knows about Up Up Down Down.
By the way, how it's a pretty good match.
Yes, it was. That match was pretty good. And I just so you aware, I do have my match with Fortnite.
I know, and I finally watched it, and holy shit! But that's at the end. You got to wait for it. But that brings me to something else I wanted to talk about. And I sent you this. I sent you the screenshot of what I commented, and then I sent you the video too. And this is before Zelina Vega came back. So it really stung. So on WWE's official TikTok, they had a video of Mandy Rose talking about her background before she came to WWE. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know why, because it was kind of a long video, and I'm not like Mandy Rose is all right. I'm just not a huge fan. But anyway, I watched it, and then at the very end, the video is plugging WWE tryout in Las Vegas.
Right.
Like, I mean, we're talking days after all these people got released for budget cuts. And so I actually commented on it, and I'm going to read verbatim what I said because I don't remember exactly, but there it is. So, no shade to Mandy, but didn't you guys just do 3 rounds of releases for budget cuts? I've yet to hear back.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you get what I'm saying, right? Because it's like, it seems kind of weird. Like, you guys are cutting talent, and it's not like you're cutting off dead weight because some big names have been released, and yet you're holding tryouts.
Right.
It kind of seems like you got all the talent you need. And I don't know how smart it is for WWE to still be trying to pull athletic people from outside of the wrestling business right now, given the nature of the business as it is.
Right. But again,
there's a plethora of talent that's already trained.
But they want to try to not just say, hey, anybody can do it. That's why they go for everybody.
Yeah, I understand that. And WWE's got a track record of getting athletes from outside of the wrestling industry, and it's worked out, but we only hear about the success stories. We don't hear about, the guys that get drafted to the NFL and they get hired. And keep in mind, when you're on a developmental contract from WWE, you are getting paid.
Yeah, you are.
And then they're there for 2 years, and then they never end up on TV.
Right.
As opposed to hiring somebody like your buddy Danhausen, who's already trained.
Danhausen, yeah. Well, but Danhausen is signed to Ring of Honor.
I know, I'm using him as an example. But if he was a free agent, WWE, he's already trained, he's already got a following, he already has name value. You can put him on TV tomorrow and already be making money.
Yeah, see, he needs all those big stacks of money. That's what he needs.
Right, exactly my point. As opposed to somebody that I would imagine that even like base pay in WWE is still a hefty sum of money.
I mean, I don't even know exactly like what they make, especially for developmental, but I mean, it's obviously more than what you or I would make a year.
Precisely. So my point being is like, yes, you're going to pay Danhausen more, but he's going to create revenue for you immediately.
Because he's got the star power like what Xavier Woods does.
Right.
With the whole social media thing.
Right. Well, and not only that, he's been featured on other wrestling programming.
Right. Well, only Ring of Honor, but yes. You're right. Yes.
Well, Ring of Honor is not exactly, it's not exactly a backwater promotion that nobody's heard of,
No, I know.
And he's already trained. That's the big part. He's already trained. So even if he's an enhancement talent in the beginning, he's ready for TV.
Yes.
He's ready for house shows. As opposed to somebody that you have to train for 6 months to 2 years, depending on how well the person takes to it, and you're paying them this whole time. Now, obviously, they know something that I don't, but to me, that doesn't make sense financially, except for the fact that Vince McMahon likes to create his own stars.
Right. Now, speaking of stars, we're talking about releases. I want to say this right now. These two, we'll go with both of these, because these two were shocks to me, because they're on the main roster, they were doing pretty good, especially with their single. Okay, one was in an NXT. Well, technically they both were, but one got over with his gimmick, and they went to the main roster as their singles. One of them beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, I already know who you're talking about.
and they formed the Fashion Police and everything else. And then they were doing well in They were doing well on SmackDown. Didn't get the big tag title push that they should have, because I feel like they should have been tag team champions on the main roster. Went down to NXT, won the tag team titles, and now here they are. They get released. And I'm talking about Breezango. Tyler Breeze and Fandango.
Yeah, and I will say this, because I've mentioned this either on one of our episodes or one we did on the Average Intelligence podcast. The first match that I watched that got me back into pro wrestling, I think it was 2014 or 15. Tyler Breeze was in that main event. So, and I thought Tyler Breeze was one of the more underrated performers ever in WWE. Because not only is he a great wrestler, I mean, he was trained by Lance Storm, you know.
Right.
I don't know if anybody. I don't know of anybody that was trained by Lance Storm that sucks in the ring.
Well, I mean, look, it's Stone Cold. He called Lance Storm boring. But I digress.
I never found Lance Storm boring. I always enjoyed watching Lance Storm matches. That might make me weird, but
I mean, Tyler Breeze done something that not a lot of people have done, and that's wrestle Jushin Thunder Liger and NXT.
Oh, that was such a good match. I was so happy for him, and it was funny is because sometimes you can tell, like when you're watching a match and it's like it's a wrestler's like one of their dream matches, like they're in the ring with somebody they never thought they would be in the ring with.
Right.
You could see it on his face. Like he was in character, but he was grinning from ear to ear.
That right there, especially from a wrestling standpoint, is a markout moment. Because it's like, it's Jushin Thunder Liger, a guy who's been wrestling since the 80s. And a Japan legend. And he comes over here, wrestles his only match ever in WWE. And it's Tyler Breeze, and of all people, it's like, yes, please.
I think that was
I was gonna say, he's trained by a man who's won every main title in WCW but the world. I'm like, just give the man the world title. Just give it. I mean, he won the Cruiserweight title, renamed it the 100 kilos and under title. He won the Hardcore title, the Saskatchewan Hardcore International title. And he won the United States title. Happy 4th of July. They renamed it the Canadian Heavyweight title. But if he won the world title, he really couldn't rename it anything for Canada because it's the world title. So it's like it's for the whole world. But yeah, he should have been world champion at WCW. Like, even if it was for a week.
Yeah, just to be like, hey, you did a great job. Here you go. Here's
like, you won all these belts. Here's the world title. You name any other wrestler in history that's won every single belt, but, well, okay, never mind. I take that back.
Say there's a few, but
no, there's only one actually. I was talking about all at the same time. I forgot. Kurt Angle.
Yep, he won the world title.
He was world, tag team, and X Division champion all at the same time.
Oh, you mean at the same time? I gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Lance Storm was Cruiserweight Hardcore U.S. champion and should have won the world title, but I was like, name any other wrestler who could do that. I forgot Kurt Angle did that.
Yeah.
But that was when he was X Division, tag, TNA world champion, and IWGP world champion.
There's an asterisk there.
Why? Because you said it was not the real IWGP world title?
I'm not saying that, but there are people that say that.
Okay, I know what you're getting at with that, because there was a little controversy at that time when there was two world champions. I understand that, but it's still considered a world title.
Oh, I know. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying there is some controversy there.
You name any other person who's won every world title imaginable other than Kurt Angle.
Kenny Omega.
Not as much
I
as
know
Kurt
he's not
Angle
a
has.
tech. Do what?
Not as much as Kurt Angle has.
Yeah, I know.
Ha ha ha.
I'm just being a smart.
What was that?
I'm just being a smartass.
Okay. Well,
And
Kurt Angle's one.
if
Kurt Angle's one. I will get into this history lesson of you. WWE title, WCW title, world title, TNA world title, IWGP world title. There's 5, son. 5.
and Kenny Omega has done all of those except the WWE Championship.
He's only had 4. Okay, his is 4 compared to Kurt's 5.
Okay, but Kurt Angle didn't win the AAA Mega Championship, so
He didn't need to go to AAA.
I'm just saying he didn't do it. Omega did. God, I sound like Don Callis right now.
All right. Let's go.
Well, and you know what? You know what, Mr. Kaufman? What I would say to you is the WWE Championship is beneath the wrestling god that is Kenny Omega. If he wanted the WWE title, he would have the WWE title.
And I'd be like, all right, Jackal. The only reason why you're getting yourself over is because you got Kenny Omega. Otherwise, you're only known for the Truth Commission.
You know, Don Callis would be the first to admit that. The real Don Callis.
The guy went from being the Jackal to the commentator in ECW. He dies off, goes away, and he comes back at TNA as a commentator. I'm like, what? No.
Wait, didn't he start? Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong here. Didn't he start as a commentator in ECW, but then came back as Cyrus after they got on TNN? Or was he always Cyrus?
He was always Cyrus.
Okay, I couldn't remember that because I know Cyrus did commentary, so I might be.
No, he was doing both.
Yeah,
he was the commentary, plus he was doing the thing with the network.
Yeah, I just couldn't remember if there was a different order or if they were doing it all at once. But
no, like when they went to TNN, he left WWF and went to ECW, and he was doing this whole network thing, saying like the network disapproves of the hardcore stuff and all that stuff. And he had Rhino and Steve Corino and everybody in his little stable. But he was also doing commentary on the side, especially when the network thing just died off and ECW got off TV, and as WWE pretty much took over Spike TV, TNN at the time. And he was a commentator on pay-per-views with Styles until the end.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the end, we'll get back to the releases. Was it one of them or both Bollywood Boys?
Oh, both of them.
Okay.
The Singh brothers, which that didn't surprise me because after Jinder Mahal stopped getting pushed heavily, they didn't really have much use for him.
Well, they were on the Cruiserweight, 205 Live. Sorry.
Yeah, like I said, they didn't have much use for him.
Right. Well, Jinder Mahal was injured and everything, and then he finally comes back. Jinder Mahal finally comes back, but he comes back with new people.
Yeah. WWE booking at its finest.
Right.
It's like, oh, we'll just send you to 205. Yeah, hey, fellas, we're going to send you to 205 Live. It's going to be such good shit. And they're going to be like, isn't 205 Live where you send wrestlers to die? No, it'll be different.
Hey, at least they were the 24/7 champion.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Hey, legit, the All Events Welcome Championship means more than the 24/7 championship. I said it.
Yeah, well, I'll take that back from you sometime.
Yeah. I'm actually due to defend it very soon.
Yeah, I think it's been about a month, sir.
It's been close.
No.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out. Anyway, back to the wrestling. So we already talked about Breezango. On the one hand, it sucks, but on the other hand, it's like they weren't being used. I think both of them will go elsewhere and be okay. Certainly be on TV more. Next one we have Arturo Ruas. I don't know who that is. I assume he was on 205 Live.
I'm going to go with probably Razorback.
Okay. So, lo siento, Arturo. Good luck. Then we had Kurt Stallion, which is just a horrible ring name. That just reeks of 1993. Hopefully you can get renamed elsewhere or become a real estate agent.
I think a horse is.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's. Could you imagine if Hangman Page was Adam Stallion?
The Stallion Brothers.
There you go. Speaking of Hangman Page, not to get off topic, but looks like he's going to be going for the world title.
Yeah. And they're saying it's going to be LOL.
I'm so torn with this one because on the one hand, from a story perspective, I think since they set this up, I think Hangman is definitely due to win the title. But then at the same time, I don't think this thing with Omega is done.
I think it is.
No, they need to keep it going.
I think it's done, considering there's talks of him being injured right now.
Oh, that might be why. That sucks. Because I've been loving the cross promotion.
Yeah, he's injured right now, and he's fighting through it. That's why he's not doing a whole lot of wrestling. I mean, he'll do the wrestling that he needs to do to get everything over like he's supposed to. But like Thursday, he wrestled a 6-man tag.
Yeah. But he had just wrestled Jungle Boy. In a really good match, too.
Right. But like I said, with him being injured and everything, like he's not pulling off the Shawn Michaels to where Shawn Michaels got injured at Royal Rumble from getting back body drop on a casket and then wrestle again until WrestleMania 14. Is there somebody in the chat saying something?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay. And he does wrestle again to WrestleMania 14 because of a bad injury, unlike Kenny Omega, who's the world champion for 3 companies, and he's still wrestling, putting on fantastic matches.
I was going to say, if he is injured, kudos to you, dude, because that match with Jungle Boy was awesome. And holy shit, Jungle Boy, bravo. Hey.
I'm really shocked. Like, I understand why he didn't win.
Oh, yeah.
I do. But even then, like, I was on the edge of my seat when I watched the match. I was like, you need to win this. Win.
And that right there is what I talk to some people about sometimes about what makes a good match, because it's like going into it, I know Jungle Boy's not going to win. Like, I know. I know. He's not going to win. But by the time that match was halfway through, I'm like, holy shit, he might win. Because some of those
especially when he got him in his trap. I'm like, what? He's going to win?
Yeah. Like, some of those near falls were close.
Especially there at the end with the DDT. I'm like, oh, my God. And he's like, got that shot up like right there to the left. Oh, he kicked out. Then Kenny hit him. Like, oh, no.
Yep. And but going back to Hangman Page, some people might disagree with me, but I love what they're doing with Dark Order. And really, I've been loving what they've been doing with Dark Order ever since Brody Lee died. Because they took something that, because you remember the first year, they were the biggest heels in the company.
Yes.
And now they're some of the biggest faces in the company. And because they didn't do, and yeah, I'm gonna throw some shade at WWE Creative. They didn't do what WWE would have done, and either disbanded the group out of nowhere or buckled down and be like, no, we're still heels, even though we all just had a tribute show where everybody was literally in tears because the leader of our stable and our friend and coworker died, and his son is here, but we're still going to be heels.
Right.
So they just followed it organically. And then I did read, it was confirmed, Brody Lee Jr., -1, has a contract with AEW for the day he turns 18 if he wants it.
He's already got one.
I know, but as far as like an official wrestling contract, because he can't legally sign it until he's 18. So right now he's working, he's just appearing through proxy, but like he can't wrestle.
Right, but he's the leader.
Oh yeah, no, he's the official. It's been confirmed. -1, Brody Lee Jr. is the official leader of the Dark Order.
Which I haven't seen him for a while.
Well, yeah, I'm sure he has school and shit. He's 10.
Well, I mean, obviously, but like.
Plus, we haven't seen Ty Conti for a little while, so that might be why.
That's neither here nor there. Was there any more releases on that?
Oh yeah, there's a couple, but I'm just basically praising AEW right now. Because I wanted to talk about something else, and I totally forgot. But yeah, Hangman Page, that match is going to be good.
The way they're building this up with him, is because you go back to that promo, but him and the Dark Order get mad at him for it.
Loved it.
I was thinking like he's scared, but he's not. Like, no, you got this.
You know what this? You know what this might be, legitimately. Hangman might lose the match, but if he does, I think he will officially join the Dark Order. Because I think if he doesn't win, what I think is going to happen is it's going to be a hell of a match, and Dark Order is going to be his buffer between. They're going to stop the Elite from getting involved in the match. That might be what tips the scale and gets Hangman to officially join Dark Order.
Oh, Hangman's going to join the Dark Order regardless.
Right, I know. I'm just saying this is how it'll be booked.
I think to get him to join the Dark Order is for him to win the world title.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, and this is what's awesome about AEW most of the time is no matter what they do, it's going to be awesome.
Right. Well, but when they have the match All Out in Chicago, it's going to be one of those things where, oh my God, here comes the Elite trying to stop Hangman from winning, and here comes the Dark Order. Then, he tries to hit the one-winged, doesn't work, and on the outside comes in that big clothesline, 1, 2, 3.
He called it, folks. We'll see. Speaking of which, we gotta look at tickets because it's only in Chicago. Gotta look up the tickets. And then they're also doing a taping of Rampage in Chicago as well.
We're doing everything that week.
Hopefully we can. Because that's Labor Day weekend, right?
No.
All Out is.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
You sure? No, I think it's the week. I think it's 1 or 2 weekends after.
After Labor Day weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Because I'm already going to be in Chicago Labor Day weekend. So.
I was going to say, because you son of a.
No,
anyway.
not for wrestling.
We'll talk about that later. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Because they're doing Dynamite on Wednesday. They're doing Rampage on Friday in Chicago.
Yep.
And they're doing All Out on Sunday, all in the same building.
Right. They're doing it at the Sears Center. No, the Allstate Arena. Why did I say Sears Center? It's the Allstate Arena.
They're not doing the Allstate Arena. They're doing it in another building.
What?
Huh?
Since when?
I read the other day they're doing it in another building.
Well, never mind. I just assumed they would be doing All Out at the Allstate Arena. Never mind. But anyway.
We'll look it up and we'll look that up.
We'll look it up. So anyway, more releases because that's why we're officially here. August Gray. I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
Okay, August Gray. Arya Davari.
Davari.
Not,
Davari.
not that Davari.
Well, his brother.
Yeah, but still not that Davari. He's gone.
Well, guy who was stuck on the Cruiserweight Classic list.
Yep.
Just like, speaking of Cruiserweight, here's somebody you forgot.
Nope, he's still on the list, but go ahead. He's next.
Oh, are you going with Tony Nese?
Yep.
The chiseled god of the Cruiserweights?
Yeah, that's like saying you're the fastest one-legged runner.
Well, I'm just saying, like, do you know any guy who's like looks like him for Cruiserweight? Brian Cage. Never mind.
I was gonna say like a real cruiserweight. Yes, there's a few. Ricochet.
Okay, I'm saying like he looks like a heavyweight, but he's Cruiserweight.
Pac.
Touche. Touche. You got me there.
Yeah. Well, that's all the releases I had. And then there was Roderick Strong came back. It was a huge surprise, apparently.
But he's part of another faction called the Diamond Mine.
Yeah.
But he's not following somebody. He's the leader.
Honestly, don't care.
True.
And can we talk? Can we talk about Johnny Gargano, however you want to pronounce it, or as Jim Cornette calls him, One Face Johnny.
I call him the god of NXT.
Why?
Because he's amazing.
He's good, but
he's Johnny Takeover, okay?
Okay, he gave himself that name, so it doesn't
count. Yes, and he pulls it out every takeover.
I don't know, and this is probably we're gonna lose some viewers. I've never liked Johnny Gargano. Never liked him. Like, he's okay. Okay, here's why. Because I think, again, his facial expressions are laughable. He has two. And here lately he has one. He's not intimidating at all. Yet they keep booking him as like this really tough talker, but he comes off as the short bully in A Christmas Story.
Okay.
I've never really cared for him. This weird, the way thing that they're doing is just odd, and I might be the only one, but I'm not entertained by it. I don't understand what they're doing with it. It's just kind of weird. He's acting like a bitch on TV.
He's a heel.
I understand that, but not. I mean, I know he's being a heel. I get it, but to me, it just comes off as annoying. It's like, shut up. It's like, shut up, dude. Killer Cross is gonna whoop your ass.
He's Johnny Wrestling. He's got it.
Why is he Johnny Wrestling? There are people on the roster today that can wrestle circles around him. As a character, I find his character annoying. I have no problem with Johnny Gargano, the person. I have a problem with his character.
You just hate his character. You don't.
I hate his character. Yeah.
But you understand he's a great wrestler, right?
Oh yes, I understand that 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I'm not throwing shade at him. I'm saying I don't understand why they're booking him this way, because I've seen him be booked better.
I'm not saying he'll, even though I want him to be NXT champion again. I know he's not going to win it from Karrion Kross. I know he's not going to win it from him at all. I think the only way he's going to, I think the person, well, crap. I'm trying to think who on NXT could take the belt from for him to go to the main roster. because I got a feeling he's going to the main roster soon
Great.
already.
So wait, he's going to go to Die. So we'll see him in Impact in a year and a half.
Well, he's doing stuff on dark matches and main event and everything else. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But he's doing it without his valet.
Great. So they're going to split them up.
Well, they're just trying to see how Vince is trying to see how he can do without the valet compared to the valet, which is yeah.
Okay, but the one thing I do criticize Johnny Gargano on is his facial expressions and the fact that to me he seems incapable of being intimidating, which is okay, but don't book him as a guy that talks a lot of crap. Book him as an underdog.
Oh, he's a face, and he can do that.
Well, I know, but even when he was a face, and this is more a complaint with WWE, even at the time NXT creative, more so than Johnny Gargano, is okay. You remember his big feud he was having with Ciampa?
Yes.
Ciampa was the heel.
Yes.
Ciampa was getting cheered during their match at TakeOver.
Well, I know.
Just saying, for those, I keep forgetting we have audio. For those that aren't watching the video, I basically just shrugged a few times during that moment of silence. So anyway, we'll get off of Johnny One Face.
So it's all good.
It's all good. It's all good. Kumbaya, everyone's happy. All right, it's time for the match of the fortnight, and it is Ben's turn. And I know what match he's talking about. And
what match are you talking about because earlier you said that you knew what match I was going to go with.
Yeah, you're talking about Dynamite's main event.
Hold on. I changed my mind before because I told you what it was before. And I watched that match and I loved it, and it was a triple threat match. But I changed it since then.
Yeah, no.
And do what?
Yeah, I know. You told me you changed it.
Well, no, before it was a match on Raw, then I changed it to this. I had to keep changing because there was a lot of great matches since then. So I'm going with a double shot here. I'm a match in the fortnight. Okay. We're going to go with two matches in the fortnight. Okay.
Double whammy. Okay.
Do what?
A double whammy.
Yeah. Because there was a match on Raw and there was a match on Dynamite. That both impressed me a lot. And I'm sure you know what the match was for Raw, which was John Morrison versus Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
That match was amazing.
Very good.
And then they do the spot at the end where Gargano's sitting on the barrier, and then Ricochet just jumps up, springboards, and then cross bodies John Morrison over the barrier. That was amazing. Never
as expected from those two.
Well, you've never seen that before, and you won't see it ever again. Considering WWE is going back on the road at the end of the month, and they'll be in front of crowds and everything, so it'll be hard to do a spot like that. And then getting to AEW Dynamite, which was their last show at Daly's place. Even though it is my other match of the fortnight, there was one problem in that whole match.
I know what you're talking about too. But go on.
Well, well, it was because of one move. But otherwise, it was a great match. And that was Sammy Guevara versus MJF. Now, what spot do you think I'm talking about?
I don't remember what the exact move was, but Sammy didn't quite get it. It wasn't a DDT. It was crap. I can't remember. But I remember thinking like, ooh.
Oh no. I'm talking from a wrestling. Okay, This is something you probably didn't catch, but this is something a wrestler catches.
Okay.
At the beginning of the match, they did this little spot where they were going back and forth, yada yada, trying to see who could do whatever. Like what Kenny, not Kenny, sorry, like what Osprey and Ricochet does. They have their little spots where they do the whole flippity flip and all that crap. They finally do their thing, jump up and post. Well, that's what Sammy and MGF did. Well, there's a time where he threw them off. MGF goes for a leapfrog, and Sammy barely gets underneath them. He grazed his.
Yeah, I did see that.
So that was the part that I'm talking about. Otherwise, if that wasn't, I'm not going to nitpick on that. It was just one of those things. That match was amazing. I feel like though that Sammy should have won that match. I understand why MGF won it. I feel like Sammy should have won it though. But my thing of the whole thing is even looking at it from a fan's perspective, yeah, even though Wardlow came out and done the thing with Jericho and the chairman got him with the chair, where's the inner circle?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird because I was like, oh, Hager's going to come out. And
that's my point. Like, if they're fighting and everything, where's inner circle to come try to make a save? They should have done a thing to where a camera, okay, they beat him down and everything, or camera goes, it's in the back showing that inner circle's laid out by the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like, okay, here's why they didn't make the save on them to do that.
They didn't really go into it. I agree. Because I thought the same thing. I was like, well, where's Hager? Where's Santana and Ortiz? But let's talk about MJF selling that knee.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not going to lie, I thought he legit hurt himself for a second. Like right when he did it.
Right.
I did. I was like, oh shit. I think he like legit hurt himself.
Well, if you want to talk about injuries, let's talk about the women for this week.
Yep.
On NXT, what is her name? I don't. She's a member of Tian Shiu, or if, I don't know. I don't know if that's the group name or if that's her name. I could be wrong. Viewers out there can correct me. I apologize. Black masked Mercedes Martinez, right in the temple side of the face, knocked her out.
Yep, legit.
I mean, that's a scary move.
Yeah, it really is, which is why you need an unbelievable amount of control to pull that off safely.
Well, Aleister Black can pull it off perfectly and not knock somebody out.
Aleister Black has decades worth of kickboxing experience.
Right, but even then, it's one of those things like even Vince could look at this like, okay, I don't know if I like this move being used now because that could actually kill somebody.
Well, right, because let's say Aleister Black used it, and then the person he's doing it on, if they move their head an inch or two closer to where his foot's going to be, that can be a legit knockout.
Right. Easily. And then on Dynamite during the women's tag match, I didn't quite catch how she got injured, but Britt Baker's tag partner somehow hurt her leg or hurt her knee.
Yeah, that match was. There were a couple moments in that match where I was just kind of like, "There's two people in here that should not be in the ring."
And that's Vicky.
Yeah.
And Brett's tag partner.
Yep. Rebel.
And but how did she get hurt?
Specifically, I know she took a pretty nasty fall, but I don't know if that was the injury per se.
Well, like, because like the way she was hurt, I don't know how she got hurt, but she had it to where her legs were locked together,
Mm-hmm.
and she was just crawling and crawling and crawling to the ramp to where she'd get out of the way of their spots
Right.
and everything. And I'm like, something doesn't add up.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I think that match got ended faster than it was supposed to as well.
I think so because I think the finish was screwy. I'm like, something's not adding up to this finish. I don't understand it.
Well, that's the good thing about having a finisher like the lockjaw, because you can definitely call that, and even somebody that's not experienced, all they have to do is lay there and let you, stick your fingers in their mouth.
The rings of Saturn.
The mandible claw with a crossface edition.
No. It'd be the ring. Well, no, rings of Saturn. That's technically what it is. The rings of Saturn's old move.
Oh yeah.
It was rings of Saturn, but it crossface.
But then you add the mandible claw.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess it's not technically a crossface.
Yeah, I think crossface. I think you're Daniel Bryan. Not that.
Yeah. The yes lock.
Or the no lock.
Those were so. Yeah, if you haven't watched MJF versus Sammy Guevara, watch it. MJF surprised me because I never thought he wasn't athletic, but he was doing some things that I didn't even know he could do.
Right.
He's got pretty impressive kip ups for a guy who doesn't do it in the ring a lot. You just kind of figure he can't do it as well, but no, he can do it. Kudos to him. That's why he's going to have a really long career, because he can pull that stuff out when he needs it. He doesn't do it in every match. In fact, he rarely does it in any match, even on pay-per-view.
Right. He doesn't have to do it, but he can if he needs to. Right. That's why he did it with Sammy.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that pretty solidifies, like, Sammy and MJF are going to be with that company for a long time, and I think they're going to have a rivalry that spans, hopefully, decades.
Right.
And I think you saw the beginnings of that. Jungle Boy, too. Jungle Boy's going to be there for a while. And I think those three, among others, are going to, because Darby Allin's going to be in this group, too. They're going to be guys that 10 years down the road, they're going to be the pillars of that company.
And kudos to Jungle Boy.
Kudos to Jungle Boy, yeah.
50 wins.
Yep.
50 wins, the first one to do it.
First one in AEW to get 50 wins. Congratulations, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, as JR would say. Oh, speaking of JR, can people stop shitting? No. Can people stop shitting on JR, please?
Okay.
Like, it was how many years did he do live commentary for WWE?
Yes.
Like, it obviously didn't bother AEW or Tony Khan that much.
I know.
Like, just get over it.
It's an accident. Accidents happen. The man's only human, and everybody knows the man's up there.
And like, even excluding all that, again, how many times did he say WWE in his career? And somebody was legitimately on Facebook in an AEW fan group that was like, fire Jim Ross. I was like, fuck you.
Fire for what? Because he said WWE Dynamite?
Yes, he said WWE Dynamite. Oh my God.
Oh, get over yourself.
At best, it's a chuckling moment. Be like, he said WWE. And then you move on. It's like, were you legitimately confused and thought you were watching WWE when he said that? Like, oh, I haven't been watching AEW for 2 hours? You moron.
Get over yourself. Everybody makes mistakes.
Precisely. It's not like the King never messed up somebody's name before.
Right. And this goes back to what I was going to say earlier about the releases before, because I know we have to go. I seen a thing from Mark Henry, because they keep saying about these releases being budget cuts. And I agree with this man, because he's like, it's not budget cuts. Because he even said that they've made, when he was still there, they made money. They made money.
Some of their best. They had some of their best. I think they had one of their best years ever.
he agrees, just like a lot of all wrestling do, that they're going to sell.
I'm telling you what, if WWE sells, they might go out of business.
They sell, yeah, because NBC's not going to know how to run it right.
And as much as grief as I give Vince McMahon, the company would not have been. It wouldn't have gotten to where it was without Vince McMahon.
Right.
And without him, maybe if they keep Triple H on.
WWE, if WWE sells and goes to a TV station, then Vince will see he is who his competition was that almost ran him out of business back in the 90s.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Vince McMahon sold WWE and then started an indie promotion?
I think Vince is looking at it as he doesn't have too much time left on his plate. Yeah. And he feels like, this is me personally, he feels like another company could do better with it than Triple H and Stephanie.
I think it's just money. Because let's be real. If a company like NBC is offering to buy WWE, I mean, what did Fox paid $20 million? I can't remember, to just have SmackDown on their channel. So I can only imagine how much the entire company. Maybe they're selling to Fox. I doubt it because they're on Peacock. So I think NBC might be cozying up to them, but.
But yeah. How can they can't sell to Fox? They sell to Fox and they're selling to Disney.
And?
Because Disney owns Fox.
I know, but what's your point?
That's my point. Is it's either if they because I was the other place I heard was going to buy them too was Disney.
Oh yeah.
So one of them is going to buy it.
Yeah,
he's going to buy WWE if it goes for sale. But my thing is, though, is that if Disney buys it, then that proves to me right there, if Disney buys a wrestling company, like they bought Fox and bought everything else, Disney's going to own the world. Disney
already owns the world. We just don't know it yet.
That's what we're going to talk about Wednesday on the Nerdcast.
Oh, that's right. Yes, plug that. So Ben is going to join us again this week on the Average Intelligence podcast, and I guess we're going to talk about Disney.
Well, it's a nerd thing. So
cool, kick ass. Yeah, Vince McMahon's going to start an indie promotion. He's going to call up Jeff Jarrett and be like, Jeff, Vince, got an idea for you. We're going to call it GSW, Good Shit Wrestling. Yeah. What do you think? We're going to get Doink. We're going to get Doink back.
Brooklyn Brawler.
Brawler. Gonna get Brawler in here.
Gilbert's gonna be the world champion.
It'll be such good shit. And we'll get a shit ton of models and do a bra and panties match to open up the show. It's gonna be awesome. That's a terrible Vince McMahon impression, by the way. I'm well aware.
You don't get Jeff Jarrett to open up a company. He tried to do it twice. He's done it twice, and he's done. He don't want to open up no more.
I don't blame him for being done. I don't know. TNA had a pretty good run.
They still have a good run.
They're on life support, my friend. Now they could still live. But right now and it's not as bad as it was even a few years ago. Because there was a minute there I was like, oh, Impact's closing.
They're still in business over GFW.
Yeah, but GFW is GFW.
Doesn't matter. They're still in business. Yeah. Like I said, Jeff Jarrett's done opening up wrestling companies.
Oh, man. All righty. Well, that seems like a decent stopping point unless there's something you want to add.
No, nothing that I have.
All righty. I'm going to shamelessly plug our shit, and then we'll get out of here. Remember, everybody, Official merchandise is now available in the link below in the description. Also in the description is a link to our anchor.fm landing page where you can see all of our audio streaming options and directly support the channel. Again, you don't have to, but everything appreciated. Anything that we get will go right into the show, get better equipment, better everything. What else? Oh, also, there is a link to a video that I made that shows you how you can support us through the Brave browser. Not going to go too much into that. If you're interested, you can watch the video. Remember our contests, too. You want to win your free t-shirt, free hoodie. Bonus points if you wear it to a live wrestling event. I don't know what those bonus points will be, but we'll figure something out. But yeah, get us those subscribers.
I
What was that?
No. I was going to say something about. Alpha. I forgot what I was going to say. Actually, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Oh, also, don't forget to check out XCW on YouTube. There is a link there also in the description.
Yep.
All righty, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks.